Alright, so today I'll be going over Leetcode 334, increasing triplet subsequence. And first of all, again, I got this solution from a YouTube video. I'll make sure to link the video in the description, so I'll just be going over my interpretation and how I saw the solution after getting the solution from the YouTube video. So, given an integer array nums, return true if there exists a triple of indices I, j, k, such that I is less than j less than k, and such that the array nums at I is less than nums at j less than nums at k. If no such indices exist, return false. And as we can see with a couple of these examples, this one returns true because we have 1, 2, 3, or 2, 3, 4, but as it says, any triplet where I is less than j less than k is valid. And then this one doesn't return true because, as we can see, we don't have an increasing triplet, and this one does return true because here we have 0, 4, and 6. And so one thing you want to note about this solution is that the indices don't have to be next to each other. In all of these ones, our increasing indices are all next to each other, but even if it's something like maybe you have a 1 here, a 2 here, and a 3 here, then that still would be considered increasing, and that's something you would want to account for, and that's something that this solution does. So this solution, first we start with nums at I, and nums at j is equal to a float infinity, and then we loop through the array nums, and then we say, okay, if num is less than nums at I, then nums at I is equal to nums. We say, okay, else if nums is less than nums at j, then we say nums at j is equal to nums, and else we return true and we return false. So just going through this code conceptually, what we're basically doing is we're having infinity kind of as your starting point. And what you want to do is anytime you first of all, you're going to record that first number because you know it's going to be less than infinity. But anytime you come across a number that's greater than your first number, you're going to record that into j. And if you come across another number that also happens to be greater than your first number and your second number, you know, oh well, I just got 3 increasing numbers, so I can return true. But if that doesn't happen, then you change accordingly, and you just keep checking until you either get out of the list or you find 2 more increasing numbers. And that's basically what the code does. And so I'll just demonstrate that right here. So let's say that we go through this first, what they gave us right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we already know, we say for nums and nums, we say, okay, if num is less than or equal to nums at I would be, in this case, infinity. So let's start it as infinity, and then let's start nums at j also as infinity. Let me take away this return true. But then we say, okay, if num is less than nums at I, num being where we start our for loop, so 1, we're going to record 1 right here. And then we say, okay, we go again. So now we're looking at 2. And then we say, okay, if num is less than nums at I, it's not less than, so we go to the elif statement, and then we say, okay, if it's less than nums at j, which is infinity, then we record that. And as I said, now we go to 3, and then we say, hey, 3, you're greater than nums at I, so we can skip that. Hey, 3, you're also greater than nums at j, so all we have to do is return true because we just found increasing triplets. So now let's go to a case where it wouldn't work. So we set this to infinity, set this also to infinity. So what you do is you start at this index right here, and we already know that this is going to be set to 5. There we go again. If nums is less than or equal to nums at I, then we change it and we say, hey, it is less than or equal to, so then we change it. And we say, okay, again, we now go to look at 3 and we say, hey, are you less than or equal to, are you less than nums at I? We say, yeah, you're less than nums at I, so we're gonna make it 3. And as you can see, it's just gonna continue to go until we just run through the list, and then we just return false. So let's go through something that has a little bit more changes in it. 5, 4, 2, 3, 1. And just looking at it, you should be able to tell that this is gonna return false, but let's check that with our code. So we say, okay, we have this also has infinity. We take our first number, 5, because we know what's going to happen. So we go again. Now we're looking at 4. Then we say, okay, is 4 less than 5? 4 is less than 5, so then we put 4 right here. Then we go to 2. We say, okay, well, is 2 less than 4? Yes, 2 is less than 4, so then we put 2 right here. Then we go again, and we say, okay, well, is 3 less than 2? 3 is not less than 2. And is it less than infinity? Yes, it's less than infinity. So then we make this 3. And then we go to 1. And we say, okay, well, is 1 less than 2? Yes, it is. So then this becomes 1. And then, oh, this becomes 1. And we would just return false because we didn't come across triple increasing indices. So I hope that made sense. And yeah.